So you wonder, how come he got his book in here? It's, Nehemiah was a Judite. We'll find out. And Nehemiah was born in Persia. He wasn't born in Israel. He was born in captivity. Okay? You there? Nehemiah chapter 1 to 3?
CONT.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody there say CONT? This is the book of Nehemiah, chapter 1, verse 1. The words of Nehemiah, the son of Hakaliah. And it came to pass in the months of Chislew, in the 20th year, as it was in Shushan the palace.
Shushan the palace. Anybody remember that? In the book of Esther. During the Persian Medes captivity. Shushan. Go ahead.
Verse 2. That Hanani, one of my brethren, came, he and a certain man of Judah, and I asked them concerning the Jews that had escaped.
So now he's asking about, now he's in captivity, Persian Medes captivity. So Nehemiah's asking, so what about those Jews, those ox that escaped, man? What happened to them? Because I heard, a couple of our brothers left. Go ahead.
And I asked them concerning the Jews that had escaped, which were left of the captivity, and concerning Jerusalem.
And he was also concerned about Jerusalem. Nehemiah was born in Persia. I could almost be 100% sure, but yeah. But he was concerned about Jerusalem. Go ahead.
Verse 3. And they said unto me, the remnant that are left of the captivity there in the province are in great affliction and reproach.
So the ones that left are back in the province being afflicted. Go ahead.
The wall of Jerusalem also.
Now he's talking about the wall in Jerusalem. Go ahead.
The wall of Jerusalem also is broken down, and the gates thereof are burned with fire. Verse 4.
So now Nehemiah was given the report of what was going on in Jerusalem. He has never been there. His forefathers or somebody had told him about how things went down during Babylon invasion. He was concerned. Go ahead.
Verse 4. And it came to pass, when I had heard these words, that I sat down and wept and mourned certain days and fasted and prayed before the Most High God of heaven.
You see a connection he had with the land and don't know about it, don't know the land? Go ahead.
And said, I beseech thee, O the Most High God of heaven, the great and terrible God, that keepeth covenant and mercy for them that love him and observe his commandments. Verse 6. Let thy ear now be attentive and thine eyes open, that thou mayest hear the prayer of thy servant, which I pray before thee now.
So Nehemiah considered himself a what? A servant. Go ahead.
Which I pray before thee now, day and night, for the children of Israel, thy servants, and confess the sins of the children of Israel, which we have sinned against thee. Both I and my father's house have sinned.
Hold it right there. So he's praying to the Most High, asking forgiveness for the sins that him and his fathers has done. So he's aware about why he's in the captivity. Let's quickly jump to Jeremiah 44, 1 and 14. And, Elder Lawya went into this past week. Remember, Nehemiah was asking about the captives, those who escaped. Remember, Jeremiah was around doing what? Babylonian captivity, when Babylon was coming invading Israel. So we had Jeremiah 44, verse 1, all the way down to 14.
All right, CONT. Can everybody there say CONT? Jeremiah chapter 44, verse 1. The word that came to Jeremiah concerning all the Jews which dwell in the land of Egypt, which dwell at Migdol, and at Tahpanhes, and at Noph, and in the country of Pathros, saying,
So he's talking about the Jews. They were dwelling in these lands, in Egypt, all these different lands. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 2. Thus saith the Most High, the God of Israel, ye have seen all the evil that I have brought upon Jerusalem and upon all the cities of Judah. And behold, this day they are a desolation, and no man dwelleth therein.
So he told Jeremiah, go tell them, you have seen all the evil that I have brought upon Jerusalem. Go to Egypt and go tell them that. You have seen it. Go ahead.
Verse 3. Because of their wickedness, which they have committed to provoke me to anger, in that they went to burn incense and to serve other gods, whom they knew not, neither they, ye, nor your fathers.
Okay. Go tell them that's in Egypt. The ones that ran when I came and snatched up their fathers. Jeremiah, go. Go ahead.
Howbeit, I sent unto you all my servants, the prophets, rising early and sending them.
So we know the prophets is the Most High servants. Go ahead.
Saying, oh, do not this abominable thing that I hate.
Mm-hmm.
But they hearken not, nor incline their ear to turn from their wickedness, to burn no incense unto other gods. Wherefore my fury and my anger was poured forth, and was kindled in the cities of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem, and they are wasted and desolate as at this day.
Okay, that's when Babylon tore the temple up, tore Jerusalem up, wasted it. Go ahead.
Therefore, now thus saith the Most High, the power of hosts, the power of Israel, wherefore commit ye this great evil against your souls, to cut off from you man and woman, child and suckling out of Judah, to leave you none to remain. And that in ye provoke me unto wrath with the works of your hands, burning incense unto other gods in the land of Egypt, whither ye be gone to dwell, that ye might cut yourselves off, and that ye might be a curse and a reproach among all the nations of the earth.
All right, go ahead.
Verse 9. Have ye forgotten the wickedness of your fathers, and the wickedness of the kings of Judah,
Here it goes.
and the wickedness of their wives, and your own wickedness, and the wickedness of your wives, which they have committed in the land of Judah?
So you forgot all the wickedness you have done? The Most High didn't forget. Go ahead.
Which they have committed in the land of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem. They are not humbled even unto this day. Neither have they feared, nor walked in my law, nor in my statutes that I have set before you and before your fathers.
Jump down to 12.
Verse 12. And I will take the remnant of Judah that have set their faces to go into the land of Egypt, to sojourn there.
Oh, so now those who went to the land of Egypt, who escaped to sojourn, to try to live, Most High said, you think I forgot? Go ahead.
To sojourn there, and they shall all be consumed and fall in the land of Egypt. They shall even be consumed by the sword and by the famine.
You're still going to be consumed by the sword and the famine. You're not getting away so easily. Go ahead.
They shall die from the least even unto the greatest, by the sword and by the famine, and they shall be an execration and an astonishment and a curse and a reproach.
Okay, we can stop right there. Let's jump back to Nehemiah. Go chapter 2 and 1. So they avoided going into Babylon, going into Persian Medes. They was in Egypt trying to start their own life. But what? The Most High didn't forget. They died. Nehemiah chapter, let's say 2, right?
Yeah. Con.
Yeah, chapter 2, verse 1.
When everybody there say con. The book of Nehemiah, chapter 2, verse 1. And it came to pass in the month of Nisan, in the 20th year of Xerxes the king, that wine was before him. And I took up the wine and gave it unto the king. Now I had not been before time sad in his presence.
So he took a wine and he's giving it to the king. What is Nehemiah's profession? Servitude. Well, okay, they didn't have bartender back then, but it's close. A cupbearer. Is that a waitress? A cupbearer. Go ahead.
Verse 2.
Mm-hmm.
Wherefore the king said unto me, Why is thou countenance sad, seeing thou art not sick? This is nothing else but sorrow of heart.
Mm-hmm.
Then I was very sore afraid, and said unto the king, Let the king live forever. Why should not my countenance be sad, when the city, the place of my father's sepulchres, lieth waste, and the gates thereof are consumed with fire?
Mm-hmm.
Then the king said unto me, For what doest thou make request? So I prayed to the Most High of heaven.
So Nehemiah was a cupbearer. All he did for the king was what? Just pour wine in his cup. Just pour wine. Whatever drink. Whenever the king's sitting down, he want to drink, Nehemiah's just there. That's it. That's all he was doing. But of course, he was sad. And it seemed like he had a relationship with the king, right? And the king gave him a request. So when the king gave him the request, he went to who did he go first? Went to the Most High. He want to make sure that he asks for a righteous request. Go ahead, continue. 5 to 11.
Verse 5.
Uh-huh.
And I said unto the king, If it please the king, and if thy servant have found favor in thy sight, that thou wouldest send me unto Judah, unto the city of my father's sepulchre, that I may build it.
Okay, so that's his request. Because, the king had power and influence. So he wanted to go back to Israel and build it back up. But you're a cupbearer. You're a waiter. What do you know about building a city? Go ahead.
And the king said unto me, the queen also sitting by him, For how long shall thy journey be? And when wilt thou return?
They said, how long are you going to be gone for? When are you going to return? I still need to drink wine. Go ahead.
So it pleased the king to send me, and I sent him a time. Moreover, I said unto the king, If it please the king, let letters be given me to the governors beyond the river, that they may convey me over till I come into Judah.
So now the king did what? The king let him go. Nehemiah didn't go on his own. The king granted his request and wrote letters for him to go. Imagine him just for years. I need some juice, Nehemiah. For years. Didn't escape, didn't leave. Probably bored to death. Okay. Go ahead, where we left off?
Verse 8.
Yeah, go ahead.
And a letter unto Asaph, the keeper of the king's forest, that he may give me timber to make beams for the gates of the palace which appertaineth to the house, and for the wall of the city, and for the house that I shall enter into. And the king granted me according to the good hand of my power upon me. Then I came to the governors beyond the river, and gave them the king's letter. Now the king had sent captains of the army and horsemen with me.
Now Nehemiah got an army with him. You're a cupbearer. What do you know about running an army, a team? Go ahead.
Verse 10. When Sanballat, the Horonite, and Tobiah, the servant, the Ammonite, heard of it, it grieved them exceedingly, that there was come a man to seek the welfare of the children of Israel.
Okay, now he got an adversary. Immediately, sooner, he got that letter, he got his army on his way to Jerusalem. Those who were in Jerusalem from the other nations was like, oh, wait a minute, what? okay, we got to deal with this guy. So Nehemiah was about to go to war. But you're a cupbearer. What do you know about war? Where we left off at?
You just finished 10.
All right, continue 11.
Verse 11.
Mm-hmm.
So I came to Jerusalem and was there 3 days.
All right, continue 12.
Verse 12. And I arose in the night, I and some few men with me. Neither told I any man what my God had put in my heart to do at Jerusalem. Neither was there any beast with me, save the beast that I rode upon.
So he kept his purpose to himself. Got up in the evening to assess the place, to walk around. That's when it's quiet, no distraction. Like me, sometimes I like to go on a nice long walk, by myself sometimes. I did the other night, remember you guys? Brothers wanted to give me a lift. I said, no, I'm going to walk. I just want to walk by myself because it helped me to assess certain things. So Nehemiah had to assess the walls of the temple. Go ahead.
Verse 13. And I went out by night by the gate of the valley, even before the dragon well, and to the dung port, and viewed the walls of Jerusalem, which were broken down, and the gates thereof were consumed with fire. Then I went on to the gate of the fountain, and to the king's pool, but there was no place for the beast that was under me to pass. Verse 15. Then went I up in the night by the brook, and viewed the wall, and turned back, and entered by the gate of the valley, and so returned. And the rulers knew not whither I went, or what I did. Neither had I as yet told it to the Jews, nor to the priests, nor to the nobles, nor to the rulers, nor to the rest that did the work.
Okay, so he had a strategy to keep things to himself. But you're a cupbearer. And that is one element of being a leader. Especially where you're about to go into a war. Go ahead.
Verse 17. Then said I unto them, ye see the distress that we are in, how Jerusalem lieth waste, and the gates thereof are burned with fire. Come, and let us build up the wall of Jerusalem, that we be no more a reproach.
All right, go ahead, continue.
Verse 18. Then I told them, of the hand of my God Ahiah, which was good upon me, as also the king's words that he had spoken unto me. And they said, let us rise up and build. So they strengthened their hands for this good work.
Continue. Go ahead.
Verse 19. But when Sanballat, the Horonite, and Tobiah, the servant, the Ammonite, and Geshem, the Arabian, heard it, they laughed us to scorn, and despised us, and said, what is this thing ye do? Will ye rebel against the king? Then answered I them,